Professor Liang has given a lot of congratulations to the opening of this Congress. In such a beautiful autumn time with beautiful flowers, we welcoming the 50th anniversary of the founding of a great university. So we are very happy to be together here to celebrate together with our foreign guests.
德国西医中医学会副主席丁武德博士来主持今天。
Good morning, everyone. Because many speakers this morning on the seminar, so every speaker must control your time. The first is Professor Andres No. He speak. Oh.
Thank you very much. To grab the drive late. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to be the first on this conference to speak so very early in the morning, and I try to wake you up during the next 20 minutes. So I'd like to speak about the modern TCM as a meeting point of Chinese and Western thinking all over the world. You see in this picture, yes, you can see, it's not very clear. You can see some Coke with different characters, Chinese characters and Western letters on it. Coke as a Western. But it's always the same behind this. There is sometimes Eastern taste in Western outfit, and sometimes Eastern essence for Western health or for the Western dishes. The people, what's inside is food, what is Chinese. Something is inside of the name China and the Chinese food, what the Western people like. That's the essence. And the question is, what have Western people that Chinese don't have? This question is not to be answered here. But I'd like to make clear what Chinese people have, what Western people don't have. So Western medicine is in crisis, has been in crisis for several decades. Modern Western people are claiming for more from medicine than the orientation only on the body or only on the soul, like psychology does. But complementary to deficient Western medicine seems to be TCM. TCM is combining the longing of Western people for the contrary view of the East, that is uniting body and soul and the own familiar tradition of Western thinking. There's the Chinese fire. So different cultures requires different approaches. But that's the problem because what I will speak here. Due to the different origins of thoughts in different cultures, each medical system requires a different way of approach. The different systems of thoughts created different systems of healing in East and West. China, so in China, China, the cultural, philosophical and medical system was over 2000 years natural scientific-based medicine. The question is, what happens within the last 2,500 years with the different cultures and the different systems of medicine? So in China, the written language was a continuum of transmission of thinking over thousands of years. The transmission of thinking in Western countries went through very different languages, from Egyptian over Greek, Latin, German, Arabian, to the nowadays German, English, or sometimes, if we speak from TCM, Chinese. So it was a transmission over several total different languages. In this 2,500 years in the Western countries, but in China, the transmission was only in one language, even if the classical Chinese language is not the same as the modern language, but it's nearly the same, the written language. Was the founder of a system of thoughts which was the root of Western ideas for over 2,500 years through all cultural, social, and political changes. Platon was the founder of the Western thinking, up to nowadays. In the context of medicine, Platon, but he stated not only the separate existence of body and soul, but the dominance of the soul over the body. It's really on the philosophy of Platon 2,500 years ago, and this psychoanalysis by Sigmund Freud was the consequence was that there's one medicine for the soul and another medicine for the body. That's the state nowadays in Western countries. It makes the pathologization of the soul. So the soul itself can be ill, can be have diseases. Following Sigmund Freud, every soul is diseased, the soul of everybody. So it was a pathologization. But the consequence of this development was that more and more people were interested in systems of healing which manage to unite the body and soul like the TCM. So, since the 16th context between the two worlds of East and West, different roots up to the 16th century. But since the 16th century, there were deeper contacts as well as a chance of confrontation. Questions of the synthesis of between East and West are existed since 400 years. Globalization, international networking, and the increased possibilities of receiving information are the reason for the increasing approach of their own to the foreign in culture, philosophy, and medicine. But this.
现在我们请国家生物芯片工程中心的陈教生物学芯片发展概况，欢迎。
Very first model organism here in China we created, and another thing that means on a device you can have multi-channel to analyze the same parameters from many different samples. So this is a disk that can perform capillary electrophoresis very rapidly. Compared to the existing capillary electrophoresis, we can have up to...
I'd like to introduce Dr. Thomas. He is the president of the International Association for Chinese Medicine, SMS, German association, and he's going to introduce the results of